in the Giving Garden.
Hello, Grow Food Northampton. It's 12:30 on the dot. We are right on time at the Giving Garden. Behind me, is like a lot of the Giving Garden right now is popping in full bloom. We've got tomatoes growing, cucumbers, zucchinis. We have little baby zucchinis, little baby cucumbers. I think actually tomorrow we're gonna harvest our first cucumbers.
Woo!
For Starlight Center, Manna Soup Kitchen, and all of our organizational partners that we donate food to for people who are, for some reason in their life right now, or because of institutional harm, they can't get food right now. So we can participate in providing food for these organizations. And thanks to Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare for helping fund this project at the Giving Garden. And I'm Ellena. I don't know if I even mentioned that. I'm Ellena, and I manage the Giving Garden and all the education programs that happen here and elsewhere, and the land surrounding it. And my camera person is Melissa.
Hi, everyone.
And Melissa is our AmeriCorps, TerraCorps Youth Education Coordinator. So here we are at the Giving Garden on a Wednesday in the middle of this clear blue sky day. I don't see any clouds. I'm excited to talk today because I have a few things that I'm really excited about here. The first is that I want to start with a land acknowledgement again. Last week we did a land acknowledgement where I wanted to highlight a certain part of the history that I really have grown to know about and cherish of this exact land that we're working on and that we have the privilege to work on here. And so I think that by knowing more and more about the land that we are working on, we can build the systems that we want to create here and carry them into the future. So there has been so much on this land, so rich. The native people that were here for thousands of years, the Nipmuc and Pecumtuck people, and the Nonotuck. This place was called Nonotuck, and different tribes were spent time here. And then fast forward to the 1830s, 1840s, and this was home to an abolitionist community, the Northampton Association for Education and Industry, and that was a mixed race community that was interested in sharing profit and also growing, doing agriculture as activist work and as a protest to other kinds of harmful, demeaning agriculture that was happening at the same time. And still happening right now in different parts of this country. And probably closer to home than some of us would want to think. And so, so the part of the history that I wanted to focus on today was about the sugar beets. Well, so there's a little theme of sweetness in our like 15 minutes here right now, and sugar beets is the first part of sweetness. I wish that I could show you a sugar beet like that we harvested last fall. It's like this big. It's like probably like some of them are as big as my head, and they have a really high sugar content. We grew them here last year to remember Lydia Mariah Child and David Child, who grew them as a protest to enslaved people growing sugarcane in the Caribbean and in different parts of the world. And it's a complicated history, but you can also search for more information at the David Ruggles Center, which is our neighbor and our collaborator right down the street here. And they have really, I'm pointing over there because that's the direction. I mean, you can't see it, but beyond those trees and everything, David Ruggles Center is our neighbor. I'm standing in front of garlic that were 3 beds of really beautiful garlic that actually we've been saving seed from at the Giving Garden since before I got here. So that's like, I think we've been saving seed here for over 5 years, maybe 5 years. And it's getting bigger and bigger bulbs every year, which is amazing. And I want to talk about these garlic scapes.
And seed saving is another act of resistance and
it's true. Yeah, resilience,
sufficiency.
And also like cultivating the parts of our culture that we want to keep and share and grow. And so, yeah, so this garlic is really beautiful. And I actually don't know the source of it before it started being saved here. But as anything gets saved and the genes get transferred, it becomes more adaptable to its space over time and to its place over time. So, so these scapes, maybe some people have eaten garlic scapes before. They're
We
one
have
of my
10
favorites.
viewers right now.
Hello, everybody. If you're just joining, I'm Ellena, and I manage the Given Garden here, and I'm with Melissa, and we're talking about garlic scapes. And garlic scapes are, well, they can be a bouquet. I went to a fancy wedding once that had many garlic scapes in all of the on all of the tables as a bouquet item. I really think that if we can have our bouquets be edible too, that's, you know,
Bonus.
major plus, so why not? And so our garlic scapes are we're about to harvest them tomorrow. We're going to do our first round. Did you want to say something that you learned about garlic scapes, Melissa?
Well, I know that it is part of the garlic plant,
Yes.
and if you want super strong, big garlic bulbs, you want to get rid of it.
Yep, you want to get rid of it, but it's okay because then you can eat it and then it's great.
But garlic scapes are its own deliciousness, and they are more like a scallion.
Yeah, like mild garlic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you just kind of snap it off right here, and if you wouldn't do that, this would grow into a big flower. Actually, it would open up into a flower, and then you would have much smaller bulbs, like garlic bulbs underground. But we want to grow bigger, juicy garlic bulbs, so we are going to cut our scapes tomorrow, and then we're going to deliver them to the different partners. And you know, you can cook them up, saute. I mean, you can do
Someone saying garlic scape pesto.
Oh yes, I did. That was on my list. One of my favorites.
Yeah.
And yeah, really anything that you want to do with garlic and scallions and other herbs, you can, you know, mix this with other parsley and basil, and you can make a really awesome pesto. You know, summer soup. You know, like greens, fresh things in it. I don't know. I like eating soup even in the summer, but maybe some people don't. So here we are at the garlic, and it's one of my favorite plants because it grows all winter long, and it's just so amazing how hardy and resilient it is throughout the whole winter, and it actually needs that cold to then be able to continue growing. And to just know that when you plant it in early November or late October, it's like before the frost, and then you cover it up with all of this straw mulch, and then like let it lie and like, yeah, and do its thing underground, you know. Yeah, so what are we going to talk about next?
Well, I do want to just zoom over here for a minute, because you were talking about sweetness being kind of a theme.
Yes, it's our theme for today.
I noticed these flowers on my way to the mulch pile.
Yes. Yeah, anyone know what these flowers are? This plant is? I will share with you. These are peas, field peas, and this means that we had this cover crop here last year. So before the garlic was in, we had oats and peas cover crop, which meant that we were growing a plant that was then going to be incorporated back into the soil and then nourish the soil, because peas have nitrogen in them. And it means that this one reseeded itself and kept living. So this vibrant pea, and then these pea flowers are just so beautiful, and they're
delicious.
And delicious. I'm not going to eat it now because of my current mask wearing, but we will.
They are so sweet.
Yeah.
I love them.
You know, I have when field trips get to come here again, I love having pea flowers blooming, because I've had classes come over the summer, and students or campers are like eating all these pea flowers, and they're like, this is my favorite new vegetable. And you know, it is a vegetable, and I think the more flowers we can eat, the better. You know, why not?
Yes.
So yes, And then, well, this plant is a mustard, so that's a
mustard
that's a
is good too.
Yeah,
we like mustard.
Too. Oh, okay. Let's talk about our final sweet plant of the day, which is okay. So it's growing. You can maybe put the camera so. We have our little hedgerow here. We've got our tree line, and it's actually right behind the tree line. But because I didn't want to have us walk all the way over there and take the time, Melissa and I went to go get these right before camera. And maybe someone knows what it is. If you do, you could share or you could hold it, hold the thought. And this is multiflora rose, or Rosa multiflora. And definitely has prickles on it, so hold with caution. But I got a few stems. It smells amazing. I can even smell it through the mask. And this is a rose. And so I'd like to tell a story about this rose. That it's known as this really bad plant.
Yeah, someone's saying invasive.
Yes. Okay. So it's it grows on all of these road edges and takes up disturbed places and has all these prickles and maybe crowds out room for other plants to grow, and so people don't really like it. And the whole reason why they brought this plant over, well, I say Europeans brought this plant in the 1930s as a living fence. So to keep their cattle and their other livestock and sheep contained, they thought that, okay, this would be great to have a living fence. And they thought, okay, let's see if this plant spreads by just putting the seed down in the ground and see if it spreads. Oh, okay, it doesn't spread. The seed didn't grow. Too bad that what happens in the world is that the birds love this food and they eat the seed and they poop it out, and that's the way that it needs to be able to spread. So it actually needs the bird's digestive system, and it spreads like wild. So it spreads really fast. So so that test was unfortunately not very good, and so this plant has become pretty prolific. But I want to just offer another alternative, or just another thought in addition to that it's invasive, is that it's actually can be very important food for wildlife and actually medicinal for people as well. And I would suggest a really amazing local resource, Milk and Honey Herbs, which is Jade. She's around here, and if you look up Milk and Honey Herbs, she has an amazing page of resources about multiflora rose. And the thing is, people like roses, right? You plant roses in your yard, and multiflora rose is the same genus. It has the same properties. It just is a different species. And so
someone says their goats love to eat it.
Oh, that is totally.
And they say it would not keep them in.
Okay, so maybe it was not even a good fence, but still maybe a good food. Melissa, do you want to say something that you learned about multiflora rose as medicine for people?
Well, it's very related to the heart, and it's got a ton of properties and benefits to it.
Yeah,
it's good for gut health and cardiovascular. It's anti-inflammatory.
It's calming and soothing. I mean, even smelling the plant is sort of calming. I think we all need a little bit of calm these days. And
said it's good for grieving and trauma, depression, anxiety.
Yes, and it blooms for a short window, only 2-week window. And you'll see that actually some of these, I think it's a corum, I'm not really sure, forget what it's called, but on these clusters of flowers, forgetting the botanical word, but on these clusters of flowers, some of them are blooming and some of them have already passed. So you have to get it during that 2-week window. And if you want to use the flowers for making salve or for soaking in different oils and things like that.
Oh, it's good for burns too.
Yes, really good for the skin. And Yeah, actually, we have a lot of amazing herbalists in this area, and a lot of them use multiflora rose as part of their medicine, because why not? It's here and it's abundant, and it's like this plant that's really valuable. And then in the winter, it has rose hips that are really tiny. They're really small, but I've snacked on rose hips before, and they're really sweet and good. Yeah. So.
And it was really interesting, because you mentioned this to me last night, and we're like, let's think about this. And I looked it up online, and the first thing that came up was this article saying about what a noxious weed it was, and invasive, and all these negative things, like on the top 10 most wanted plants.
Yes.
Like it's illegal to buy or sell it.
Yes.
And all
totally.
these things. And then you sent me the milk and honey today. And it was just a real reminder to me about, you know, how we think about health and well-being, and how we can take care of ourselves in ways that's not acknowledged by mainstream media and science, and that we have these other systems available.
And that things that have all of these qualities of invasiveness that we do need to manage at times, because they're getting into our places that we want to grow food, or they're crowding out other native plants, and maybe we do want to manage them, but also to like be able to acknowledge what we can get from them, and like maybe what they're trying to give us. So yeah, so it's really awesome. I like rose. I encourage you to all, take off your mask every once in a while outside, and smell some of the roses that are out right now.
Yes.
And maybe check out the farmers market for garlic scapes.
Absolutely. And strawberries, of
Oh,
course.
and strawberries, yeah. Maybe
they
can be
are popping.
combined in some way.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's all for now.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.